you very much. I'd first like to note the decision made by the Supreme Court in respect of Climate Case Ireland. I think it's a very, very important reminder of how seriously we need to act on climate change. It's not simply that we need to be acting on mitigating and adapting to climate change. We also need to be ensuring that we're not taking actions that take us in the wrong direction. And I hope that we will now see the same passion that sometimes goes into property rights and their defence applied to the Supreme Court decision that tells us climate action is a fundamental responsibility and that the state has to do more. I'd also like to join in those who thank all of the public servants in this House for their work, recognising we are in ourselves public servants and we have to do our work, and sometimes that's going to be calling votes, let's be clear. But I think it's very important to thank all public servants and indeed all public servants across Ireland. And I'd like to very strongly say that the remarks this week in respect of public servants really were unacceptable, because it is our public services in the very darkest times, in the most difficult circumstances of this crisis, who kept people going right across the country. And I think that's very, very important, and that's why I think public services and investment in public services terms and pay and conditions and new imagined public services, maybe taking areas into public service, as was described earlier, be it in residential care and others, is something we need to look at as part of how we build and go forward. I'm just, as we end this term, I do want to make just a small note of concern. There are very worrying things happening around the world. We're seeing in Hong Kong a pushback against democratic rights. We are seeing people picked up in unmarked vehicles in the United States with rule of law. We are seeing in Poland a decision to pull away from an international convention in terms of domestic violence. We saw actually that same thing happened in Russia previously, leading to very dangerous laws that affected women's health and rights. It's a reminder of why the European Union needs to ratify the Istanbul Convention and produce directives that ensure each individual woman and child in Poland has recourse to that law, if not their own country's law. But it's notable that the Duda, the person who did that in Poland, did it with a 1% majority. And it was a winner-takes-all attitude to politics. That is a dangerous attitude to politics. And I think in Ireland, where we have valued the diversity of political opinion, we need to be extremely cautious of anything that moves us even 1 inch towards the idea of government without parliament or the idea of winner-takes-all politics. All of us here will, at different points in our lives, well, possibly, I may never be in government, but others will, and they will be in opposition. We have to respect each other. Going into the Civil War period of commemorations, the diversity of voices is crucial. The decision to roll back to Civil War era 1920s politics in terms of who gets to speak in the Dáil chamber was a regressive step. It's one we should all be concerned about. And it's very important that we really, in this House, try to endeavour to keep that constructive form of politics moving forward. I'm urging this to everybody, not as a point of division, but as a point of unity, so that we can move forward and serve the people of Ireland together better.